What's the best party game you've ever played? I play this awesome party game called Staying In. Find the Load Bearer is a hilarious party game, but I don't recommend playing it in your own house, because it's played with sledgehammers. I love Mafia to the moon and back. When playing with family or friends, we get super competitive and creative and even add in new roles with new abilities just to keep the game more interesting. Die Werewolf von Dusterwald. It's like Mafia with supernatural creatures. I think it's originally a French brand called Les Loups Guerres de Thiercy Lux. There is a Spanish version too, Los Hombres Lobo de Castro Negro. Also Munchkin. It's a card game. Played that with my roommates. After that we didn't talk for a week. Doors were being slammed. Spyfall. I think it's based on a physical game. But this website has a free version that allows everyone to use their phones to play. Generates a code that you'll enter to join the same round. Everyone, save one person, is given the same location and a different occupation. One person is the spy and is not given the location. Ultimately, the goal of the main group is to determine who the spy is, while it is the spy's goal to determine the location. To achieve this, players go around in a circle, asking each other questions, the main group trying to determine whether the person they are asking knows the location, while the spy tries to determine what the location is, without giving away that they are the spy. Kings is definitely my favorite. With our own card rules of course. It's always a lot of fun. Edit, a word. Nerf Russian roulette. Had a friend blow vodka out of her nose after someone shot themselves in the back of the throat. It's never not a good time. Game called Telestrations. It's basically Whisper Down the Lane except with pictures and drawing. First person gets a word, draws it, passes it. Next person guesses what it is, then passes it, and the next person has to draw what the other person guessed. Pretty fun to see where things go. It's called Don't Let Josh Drink Himself to Death. So far we're winning, but my boy Josh gets better and better every time. There's a game on Steam called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. One player grabs a laptop and gets to play with a time bomb while the rest of the people get to tell them how to disarm it through various puzzles from a manual. Neither the disarmer or the helpers get to see each other's stuff, so it's purely about effective communication, which gets more and more fun as everyone keeps drinking. I've played it at a number of parties. So much fun. Honestly, beer pong. It's the perfect game for pre-drinks. Everyone can play. It's so simple. I've had people come to my place who don't really speak English. They watch the game once and figure it out. It's good for socializing. Oh. Someone at the prees is looking uncomfortable and not talking to anyone? Have them play. Partner them up with a stranger. Bam, now they have something to do and someone to talk to. Guys. See a girl at the party you think is cute. Ask her to be your partner. Oh. You made it in? Give her a high five. Her turn? Pat her on the back and tell her she's gonna make it in. Beer pong can play wingman too. After a few rounds everybody should be tipsy at the least. It's not fun for a whole night. The game just gets old. But for before you go out it's perfect. The 50-50 game. At least that is what my friends and I call it. It works like this. People sit around in a circle, usually 6 or more people. A person starts by asking the person to their right a question that only the person to their right hears. This question is something like, if you had to have a 6 with anyone in this circle, who would you choose? It is usually more interesting when the question deals with people within the group. The person who is asked the question says the name out loud for everyone to hear. Then the 50-50 part comes into play. You then flip a coin to decide if the question will be said out loud. If it is tails it stays hidden and the people within the group only know the name. If the coin shows heads, the asker restates the question for all to hear. You know, it's all fun and games until someone whips out the draw for wild card. Chardy McDennis. The game of games. Definitely strip cards against humanity. We pick the best and worst answers. The best could win back a piece of clothing and the worst loses a piece of clothing. We played it until everyone was butt naked, which took about 3 hours. We all lost our dignity that night. Stump, or as it's more eloquently known as, hammerskledgen. You take turns hammering nails into a log. It shouldn't be as fun as it is given its simplicity. Counter-Strike. Nearly flunked out of college. I used to love playing Never Have I Ever, until I played with my older sister at a big camping trip with mine and her friends. I learned she's a slut. She learned I ducked a midget. Haven't talked since. Now. A card game where only the dealer knows the initial rules, and players cannot be told what they are. They have to instead learn what they are based on what the dealer does, and are given a card for every incorrect action. Once everyone becomes fairly familiar with the rules, without actually being told them, the players can decide to allow the winner to create their own rule, which they can decide whenever and is put into effect when they choose to. New rules are permanently in effect for subsequent rounds until either a player joins, leaves, or everyone agrees to restart. In both cases, you would return to using the house original rules. It is a really fun game, and I recommend looking the rules up yourself if you are interested. It is hilarious to see people get frustrated for getting penalized for a rule they don't know. And once the game has gone on long enough, the amount of made up rules can make remembering all of them pretty hard. I absolutely love playing Mafia. Halfway through, all my friends and I just start tossing out random accusations and it gets hilarious from the lengths someone will go to get someone else eliminated. It also starts more fights than Monopoly. Cookie Pocket. It's best played during winter when everybody is wearing jackets and multiple layers. You buy a giant party platter of cookies from the supermarket for everybody to use, and you try to reverse pickpocket cookies into people's pockets. If they don't catch you in the act, they have to eat the cookie when they find it. If they catch you, you have to eat the cookie. I've seen somebody sneak 12 cookies into somebody's coat, and they drunkenly ate all of them. Edit. It sounds fantastic at first, but cookies add up very quickly. 12 cookies is a lot when you've already eaten 5 or 6. Picture sentences. It works best with around 6-10 people. Everyone has small pieces of paper for as many people playing and starts by writing a sentence. Then they pass it left and the next person has to draw a picture of said sentence. Then it gets passed again and the next person has to write a sentence based on the picture they see. That repeats until it goes all the way around and then you read it aloud one at a time. Much hilarity, loud belly laughing, and inside jokes ensue. It started as an object lesson about how facts become misinterpreted and was brought to the table by my husband's family. I quickly brought it to my extended family and it became the game of choice, beating out their old tradition of writing a paragraph for 2 minutes then passing left, etc. Protecting Mr. President. Someone puts their fingers up to their ear as if they are speaking into a headset. Other people catch on and do the same until there is only one person left who hasn't done it. That person is the president and gets tackled by everyone else while they scream in anguish. All the guys put their keys into a bowl, then their dates take turns picking keys out of a bowl, then each couple pairs off and has 6. FIFA shots. Get scored on. You take a shot. Lose the game. You take a shot. Sometimes I'd feel bad for my opponent and would take a shot with them. College. Arsehole is a really fun card game. Fibbage and other Jackbox games. Cards Against Humanity and Crabs Adjust Humidity are great when combined. For drinking, you can try out Rage Cage. Cards Against Humanity is the best game to play when everyone is drunk. It's how you weed out the real sociopaths. The Jackbox games are great, especially Quiplash and Drawful. Landmines. Get a beer, a cup and a quarter. Pour as much beer as you want in your cup. Then spin the quarter, finish the drink and pick up the quarter with the same hand you used to pick up the cup. Once your can is empty, while another player has their quarter spinning, you can slam your can bottle on the quarter and they have to go again. The can or bottle stays on the table as a sort of landmine, hence the name. Best comment of the day. One of the guys I subbed to, this one the longest term. Started 2005, still going strong 3. One time when he lived in Oakland, Pittsburgh, I visited and at some point I was in a pair of door cuffs w/wrists over my head. When he finally allowed me to climax, I actually drew my knees up to my shoulder, curling up in a ball, suspended in the air for nearly a minute. The man has been able to play my body like Jimmy played the guitar ever since day one. We must have been lovers in a past life or something XD.